Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Speak English podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Sarah. We're excited to have you here today because we've got a very interesting topic lined up.
Today, we're going to talk about something that many of us struggle with: remembering words easily in English.
That's right. We all know how frustrating it can be when you're trying to recall a word, but it just doesn't come to you. But don't worry, we have some great tips to help you with that.
So, if you've been struggling to remember new vocabulary, this episode is for you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a chance to improve your English. Let's dive right in. So, how do we actually remember words easily? The key is using a technique that taps into your brain's natural ability to remember images and associations.
That's right, David. One of the best techniques to help with this is called visualization. It's all about associating new words with mental images that are clear and memorable.
For example, let's take the word dog. Imagine a cute puppy playing in a park. The more vivid and specific your image, the easier it will be to remember that word.
Exactly, David. The brain naturally remembers images much better than abstract concepts. So instead of trying to memorize the word dog directly, you're remembering the image of that playful puppy.
And this works for any kind of word, not just objects. For more complex words, try to picture a scenario that represents the meaning of the word.
Exactly. For instance, let's take the word freedom. You might imagine someone standing on top of a mountain with open arms, feeling free and empowered.
Now, you might be wondering, how does this actually help you recall the word later? Well, the image creates a strong mental connection that helps your brain link the word with something easy to remember.
And that's the beauty of this technique. The more detailed and personal the image, the more likely it is that you'll recall the word when you need it.
So, if you're trying to learn a new word, don't just think about the word itself. Think about the image that represents it, and make that image as detailed as possible.
It can even help you learn words in a more emotional way. Imagine how you would feel when you hear or use that word in a conversation.
And you don't need to limit yourself to just one image. You can build a whole series of images to help reinforce the word's meaning.
That's a great point, David. For example, if you're learning a word like adventure, you could imagine a series of exciting images: hiking, exploring, traveling to new places.
So, the next time you come across a new word, think about how you can turn it into a picture or a story in your mind. The more creative you get, the easier it will be to remember.
Exactly. And remember, this technique doesn't just help with vocabulary, it can also be used for grammar, expressions, and even entire sentences.
All right, let's put this technique into practice. Sarah, I'm going to say a word, and I want you to imagine something related to that word in your mind.
Sounds fun. I'm ready, David.
Great. The first word is sunset. What comes to your mind when you hear it?
Oh, I imagine myself standing on a beach, looking out at the horizon. The sky is filled with orange, pink, and purple colors, and the sun is slowly sinking into the water.
That's a beautiful image, Sarah. See how detailed you made it? That's exactly the kind of visualization that helps you remember the words unset.
It's amazing how vivid the image becomes when you really focus on the details. I can almost feel the warm breeze and hear the sound of the waves.
Exactly. And the more you practice this with different words, the easier it will be to remember them. Let's try another word: mountain.
Okay, when I hear mountain, I picture a tall, snow-capped peak standing high above a green valley, with a few clouds floating around the top.
Perfect. That's a really strong image. Now, if you had to recall the word mountain later on, that image would make it so much easier.
Absolutely. It's like I've already made a connection in my mind between the word and the picture, so it's just waiting to be pulled up whenever I need it.
That's right. And you can even add movement to the image, like a person hiking up the mountain, or animals running across the snow. Adding movement and sound helps strengthen the memory.
I love that idea. Let's try a more abstract word, like success. What do you imagine when you think of success?
For me, Success is like standing on a stage, looking out at an audience who's applauding. It feels like a moment of pride and achievement.
That's such a strong image. It's not just the word success, it's the feeling that comes with it, the recognition and the joy.
Exactly. The more you associate emotions and experiences with the words, the easier they will be to recall. It's all about making the connection personal and meaningful. Now that we've covered how to apply the technique, let's talk about why it's so beneficial. One of the main advantages is that this technique taps into the brain's natural ability to remember images, which is much stronger than recalling words alone.
Exactly. Our brains are wired to remember pictures and experiences. By using this technique, you're leveraging that natural strength to make learning easier and more effective.
Another benefit is that visualization helps with long-term retention. When you create these strong mental images, you're building stronger neural connections that make it easier to recall the word even months later.
That's a huge advantage. Think about it. We're not just trying to memorize words, we're trying to make those words a part of our mental framework so we can use them confidently and quickly.
It's also great for improving your speaking skills. The more words you can recall easily, the more fluent you'll become when speaking English in real conversations.
Exactly. This technique makes the words come to life in your mind, which means you won't hesitate when it's time to use them. They'll just flow naturally.
And let's not forget about the emotional benefit. Visualization can make learning fun. It's not about memorizing dry vocabulary lists, it's about creating vivid mental movies that make the learning process exciting.
I love that part. Learning doesn't have to feel like a chore. It can feel like an adventure as you create new images and stories in your mind. That's why this technique works so well.
Plus, it helps with pronunciation. When you visualize the word, you can also visualize how it sounds in the context you're using it. This can improve your accent and make you sound more natural.
And the technique can be used for more than just individual words. You can apply it to entire phrases or even whole conversations, which will give you a major boost in fluency.
That's a fantastic point. It's not just about single words. By visualizing entire interactions, you're training your brain to connect words and phrases together in real-life scenarios.
And of course, it helps with confidence. When you're able to recall words easily and speak without hesitation, you'll feel more confident in your ability to communicate in English.
Exactly, Sarah. By using this technique, you're not just memorizing vocabulary. You're building a mental toolkit that allows you to express yourself clearly and confidently in any conversation. Now that you understand the technique and its benefits, let's break down how you can start practicing it. The first step is to choose a word that you want to learn or remember.
Once you've chosen your word, take a moment to think about what the word means to you. Don't just go for the dictionary definition. What feelings, actions, or images does this word bring to your mind?
Next, create a vivid mental image that represents the word. Make it as detailed and personal as possible. The more unique the image, the easier it will be to recall later.
Exactly. Try to think about the environment, the colors, the emotions, or even the sounds connected to the word. For example, with the word rain, you could picture yourself in a quiet park, listening to the soft sound of raindrops.
Once you've built your mental image, take some time to really focus on it. Close your eyes and try to see every detail as clearly as you can. The more time you spend on this step, the stronger the connection will be.
Now, repeat the word out loud while visualizing the image. This helps reinforce the connection between the word and the mental picture. Say it in different contexts to strengthen your memory.
After practicing the word, it's important to review it regularly. Come back to your mental image, repeat the word, and see if the connection still feels strong. Regular review is key to long-term retention.
That's a great point. Don't just practice once and forget about it. The more often you revisit the word and its image, the more solid the connection becomes.
And as you continue practicing, try to challenge yourself by using the word in different sentences or situations. The more flexible you are with how you use the word, the better you'll remember it.
You can even try teaching the word to someone else. When you explain the connection between the word and the image to someone else, it reinforces your understanding and memory of it.
That's a great technique. Teaching others what you've learned is a powerful way to solidify your own understanding. And don't forget to be patient with yourself. It takes time to form strong memories.
Absolutely, David. The key is consistency. As you continue using this technique, you'll start noticing how much easier it is to recall words and incorporate them into your conversations.
So, practice regularly, stay patient, and don't be afraid to get creative with your images. You'll be amazed at how quickly your vocabulary will expand and how confident you'll become when speaking. Now, let's talk about some common mistakes that people make when using this technique and how to avoid them. One common mistake is not making the mental image vivid enough.
That's right, David. If your image is too vague or generic, it won't be as memorable. You need to create a clear, detailed picture in your mind for it to stick.
Another mistake is rushing through the process. Some people try to create an image quickly and move on to the next word without fully committing to the first one.
Exactly. Remember, the power of this technique comes from really focusing on each word and its associated image. Take your time with it, and don't rush the process.
A third mistake is not reviewing the words regularly. Just like any memory technique, this method requires repetition to strengthen the connection between the word and the image.
That's a big one. If you don't go back and review the words, the connection weakens over time. Make sure to review them periodically to keep them fresh in your mind.
Another error is not personalizing the image enough. If the image you create doesn't have any personal meaning or emotional connection, it won't be as effective.
Exactly. The more personal and emotional the connection, the easier it will be to remember. So make sure the image you create is something that resonates with you on a deeper level.
Also, don't try to visualize too many things at once. If you overwhelm yourself with too much detail or too many images, it can actually make it harder to remember the word.
Yes, keep it simple at first. Start with one clear, vivid image for each word. You can always add more detail as you get more comfortable with the technique.
Another common mistake is not practicing regularly. If you only practice once in a while, you won't see the long-term benefits. Consistency is key.
Absolutely. Even if you just take a few minutes each day to practice, that consistency will pay off in the long run. The more you practice, the better you'll get.
And finally, don't get discouraged if you don't remember a word right away. This technique takes time to master, so be patient with yourself.
That's so important. Remember, learning a language is a journey. Each step you take brings you closer to your goal, so don't be too hard on yourself.
Now that you have the technique and you understand the common mistakes to avoid, let's put everything into action with a fun challenge. I want you to choose 5 words that you've been struggling with.
Great idea. Choose words that you find difficult to remember. It could be anything from simple vocabulary to more complex terms. The key is to focus on words that matter to you.
Once you've selected your 5 words, take a few minutes to create a unique mental image for each one. Remember, the more detailed and personal the image, the better it will stick.
Exactly, David. For example, if the word is mountain, imagine yourself climbing a mountain, feeling the cold air, seeing the peaks in the distance. Create a full scene in your mind.
Once you've created your images, practice recalling them throughout the day. Every time you think of the word, visualize the image and say the word out loud to reinforce the connection.
And don't forget to review these words later in the day. It can be after lunch or before you go to bed. The key is to make sure you revisit those mental images regularly.
That's right. And here's an extra challenge for you. Try to use each of the 5 words in a sentence. This will help you see how the words fit into real conversations.
Once you've used the words in sentences, try to imagine those sentences in different contexts. The more you stretch your imagination, the stronger your memory will become.
After practicing for a few days, Try to teach someone else the words you've learned. Explain the connection between the word and the image. This will solidify your understanding.
And don't stop after 5 words. Keep challenging yourself. As you get better at this technique, add more words to your list and continue practicing.
Remember, the more consistent you are with practicing this technique, the faster you'll improve. It's about making it a part of your daily routine.
Exactly. It's all about making learning enjoyable and interactive. Challenge yourself, have fun, and before you know it, you'll be using those words effortlessly.
So, are you ready for the challenge? Remember, learning a new language is about persistence and practice. Stick with it, and you'll be amazed at your progress.
Good luck, everyone. We're excited to see how you do. Remember, keep practicing, and don't forget to enjoy the process of learning.
So, to recap what we've discussed today, we've explored an effective technique to help you remember words easily. We learned how to create strong mental images, how to avoid common mistakes, and how to practice regularly to improve your vocabulary.
Exactly. Remember, it's not just about memorizing words, but creating a deep connection to them through vivid mental imagery. This technique will help you recall words faster and use them more confidently in your conversations.
We also gave you some practical steps to follow and even challenged you to put this technique into action. The more you practice, the better your results will be.
And don't forget, if you ever feel stuck or need some extra motivation, come back to this video and refresh your memory. Consistency is key in language learning.
We'd love to hear how this technique worked for you. If you've tried it, leave a comment below telling us about your experience. Did it help you remember words more easily?
Yes, and if you faced any challenges, feel free to share them too. We're all learning together, and your comments could help someone else.
If you've made it this far, it shows that you're committed to improving your English fluency. So, let us know by commenting words below so we can see who's really dedicated to mastering their vocabulary.
And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you found this video helpful. It really helps the channel and motivates us to keep creating content like this.
We're excited to continue this journey with you, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more tips and techniques to help you improve your English skills.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Keep practicing, stay positive, and remember, learning English is a journey, not a race.
Take care and keep up the great work. We believe in you.
Goodbye, and keep making progress every day.